Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'll go ahead and call our January 2026 regular council meeting to order and wish a happy new year, and then turn it over to Councilwoman Garden for the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
If you'd like to join us in prayer, do so. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this opportunity to be here once again, Lord. I ask that your blessings be on our meeting tonight, all the decisions to be made. Lord, I ask that your blessings be on our town, and beyond our town, our state and our nation, Lord. I ask that you be with each of the people in this town and keep them safe. I ask for those that are abroad right now to keep them safe, including all of our military people, Lord. We lift these things up to you. In your heavenly name we pray. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and justice for all.
Mr. Kelvin Harris, come on up or down. We call it like price of right.
This is from Mark Campbell, our manager of the Streets Department. While he has only been working for the Streets Department for 6 months, Kelvin Harris has already increased the sidewalk repairs significantly with his work ethic and ability to manage his crew and time very efficiently. In this short period of time Kelvin has been here, he has shown exceptional leadership qualities and has come up with many suggestions on to how to better utilize time, equipment, and personnel. The Streets Department is grateful to have Kelvin Harris on our team. Congratulations.
So, Mr. Harris, we greatly appreciate you coming on board with the town of Somerville and demonstrating excellence in your work in concrete. Something we hear all the time is how important our sidewalks and our pedestrian connectivity is in town. And your expertise and your work ethic are helping us meet the needs of our citizens. So I greatly appreciate you. Here's a token of our appreciation, and keep up the great work. Yeah.
Next, we have a special presentation from Steadfast Recovery Ministries.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren. This is my husband, Clay, and we're the founders of Steadfast Recovery Ministries, a faith-based structured living program here in Somerville for men recovering from substance and alcohol abuse with a focus on family restoration. First of all, we want to thank you for allowing us to be here tonight. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Town Clerk. Thank you, councilmen and councilwomen. So I'm excited to share a little bit about Steadfast with you. At our core, Steadfast Recovery Ministries is a Christ-centered, sober living home for men with a structure and a curriculum to it that allows men to experience a total life transformation as they move through our program, and that has a focus on working with the entire family. A week at Steadfast looks like 5 weekly house meetings. They get group therapy as well as individual counseling services. Other services include when a man arrives with us, if they don't have a job lined up, within 48 hours, they have an interview with Palmetto Landscape here in Somerville. We're partnered with Charleston Southern to provide family counseling services to any of the families who come to us, whose men live with us. And so through that, we can provide marital counseling services, family group services, and child play therapy for any of the families to provide the wraparound service. We're also partnered with Whole Foods to get weekly donations up to $1,000 a week from Whole Foods to provide all the food that the residents need each week. And we also provide health care, including dental care for our residents as well, so they can make sure that their health is taken care of. We are also partnered with Seacoast, and our men attend Seacoast Somerville every single Sunday morning. So, and we're also able, with a friend of ours from Pinnacle Bank, we provide a financial workshop to our residents. So when they're with us, they can work on financial planning for their future and learn how to save money and accomplish their goals. And so Steadfast was born out of our testimony, our marriage healing journey and Clay's recovery journey. And essentially what Steadfast is a program much like the one that we experienced. And we've taken the aspects of the program that saved his life and saved our marriage, and we've implemented it here in Somerville in a sober living setting. And so our entire mission is to bring men in who are broken and need healing, just like we did, and to be able to provide all sorts of wraparound care for them and their families, so that when they leave us, they're ready to go out into the world, thrive, succeed, and be successful members of society. And so, essentially, our doors opened last July in 2025, and what we've witnessed over the last months has been nothing short of a miracle. The transformation that we've seen within the men that we serve has just been incredible, and the community that has poured into this ministry, like I said, has been nothing. It's just been amazing to be a part of. And so each of you received packets tonight, and currently our home, we can house 6 men at a time, plus our operations director, Bryce, who lives with the men full time. And if you look at your packets, you'll see a case for support and a vision summary that details the next 3 years from now through 2028 with Steadfast. And so right now we have 1 home, but our plan is to, by the end of 2028, to have 3 homes that can house up to 30 men at a time, plus working with those families. And so in order to do that, we need to raise $3.6 million over the next 3 years to bring this vision to life. And so that's why we're here tonight. And we had the honor of meeting with Mario from Dorchester County earlier this week to share the same vision and plan with him. And so as we did with him, we're here with you tonight to hopefully be able to partner with the town of Somerville to be able to help our local citizens with the addiction care that they need. And so we are asking to partner with you on the available South Carolina opioid recovery funding by the January 31st deadline. As we saw on the website, we saw that $946,000, 313.72 cents was available for this year for opioid recovery. And if we were to have an invitation to this and receive some of this funding, this would help bring our vision to life. And all we're looking to do is to help men and families, like we said, thrive, succeed, learn how to live in abundance as Christ has called us to in sobriety, and to see marriages and families restored just as ours was. And so together with a partnership with the town of Somerville, we'll be able to help serve countless lives. And we just want to thank you for allowing us to be here tonight. And if you could let us know next steps to apply to this SCORE funding, we would be ever so grateful. And we look forward to a fruitful partnership. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren and Clay, for what y'all do in this community. We appreciate it.
Next is approval of minutes.
Mr. Mayor, I move for approval of items A, B, and C on the approval minutes.
I'll second.
All right, motion and a second to approve items A, B, and C. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I would like to recuse myself from item 5C because I was not here.
Yes, ma'am. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. All right.
All right, next is the
Before-
public hearing, but you wanted to say something.
Yes,
before
before we call, open the public hearing, I would like to invite the applicant to maybe come forward and give us any updates since our last meeting. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Excellent. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Council, for having me here this evening. First off, I again want to just thank everyone for this opportunity and let you all know that since we last met, we've been able to have a number of different conversations, both with members of council, county council, but most importantly, the community at large. And through this process, we've been able to already start to make some adjustments to our proposal. Before I talk about that, I do want to just mention a few things, and some of this is repetitive, but just want to make sure everyone is aware of some of these things. One, as part of this proposal, no one's property outside of the property we're talking about is going to be annexed into the town, just the property that is owned by our company. Secondly, no one will be moved from Dorchester County to Berkeley County as far as their residency, and no one's school impact zones would be directly impacted by this. I also wanted to mention, because I didn't last time, this property, like all the property in Nexton, is currently under a mutual agreement we have with Berkeley County School Districts, where we have a self-imposed voluntary school impact fee that every new home in Nexton pays for $1,850 that goes towards new school construction. And that's part of the way the new middle school was funded. I think that was important. And then, of course, this proposal also includes an obligation on our behalf to donate land for a new fire and or police station for the town in the property. And of course, we have the associated impact fees would be part of this as well. With that all being said, the one thing I really want to talk about tonight is the current zoning on this property. And this is probably something we should have talked about previously, but this property was zoned approximately 20 years ago. And the original zoning called for the entitlement of 447 homes or units, but also allowed for an additional 447 accessory dwelling units. So for a total potential of 894 residential units. In addition to those uses, things like civic uses, churches, schools are also permitted on the property. Probably the most important thing about this zoning, the current zoning, is that it does mandate that all the lots be a minimum size of half an acre. And while I think that was well intended when it was first proposed, what it results in, and this plan is a pretty good depiction of it. This is a plan that shows those units with this minimum lot size. And unfortunately, what the net result is essentially all the property outside of the preserved wetlands would be impacted and disturbed and developed as part of this under this existing zoning. We don't believe that's in the best interest of this property, nor would that be the best outcome. And frankly, that's part of the reason why we have been pursuing this proposed annexation and rezoning. Most importantly, we don't think this approach, while well-intended, I don't think it's going to achieve its primary goal, which is maintaining the rural character of this area. And we've had time since some of these public meetings to go and spend more time in the community, study it more, and interestingly, learned a little bit more about approach to development that was developed by the SC Department of Environmental Services. That's called the Conservation Subdivision Open Space Development Approach. And under this approach, a few of the sort of guiding principles is the preservation of green space, the conservation of scenic views, and the reduction of perceived density from public roadways, permits the clustering of homes, reduces the amount of infrastructure by allowing a variety of home sizes, lot sizes, promotes interconnectivity with greenways and construction of convenient walkways and bike paths. We're using this approach as kind of the guiding principles as we've started to look at how this plan could be improved. What you can see here is just the beginning of sort of a modest attempt to incorporate these principles. The primary thing I'd like to point out is you can see that along Wild Game Road and Sheep Island Road, particularly along Wild Game, there's quite a significant enhanced buffer that's been established. The majority of that land you can now see between those wetlands is now shown as preserved open space, We think that really is an important feature of this plan now. This will maintain the rural nature of Wild Game Road. We also envision doing sort of a fence structure that's consistent with some of the farm agriculture, cattle farms you see out in that area that would kind of maintain that agriculture and rural feel to the area. And most importantly, the buffer would screen any visibility to the homes that'll eventually be built. Then after these buffers are put in place, not only along the roadways, you can see we've enhanced the buffer proposals for along adjacent property, particularly paying attention to where existing residents or homes already exist today to make sure they're properly screened and won't be impacted by any future homes that are built. Having said all that, though, I will say we recognize there's still more work to be done. And to that end, we are planning on holding a public meeting with the broader community, both the mayor and town staff, along with the county supervisor and county staff, have agreed to participate with us in that. We'll use that meeting as an opportunity to get more direct feedback. I fully anticipate after that meeting, we'll make even further revisions to our submittal. And then it's our hope we'll be able to move forward with an improvement that I think at the end of the day will be a much better outcome than what is currently permitted on this property. There's one last little image I'll just show. This was just something, again, the engineer showed. This just shows you kind of what a road section would look like with a maintained buffer versus the current zoning under the county PDMU, which obviously allows the homes to be directly up adjacent to the road. So I'm happy to obviously answer any questions. I know this evening is really just a public hearing and that any vote is being postponed until we're able to have those community meetings. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Council members, any questions? Okay.
First for the public hearing, Alvin Lumpkin.
While Mr. Lumpkin's coming up, I'll invite one of our hardest working streets department officials, Mr. Harris. If you need to get toward the house, you feel free to leave at your convenience, sir. We appreciate what you do for the town each and every day.
Good evening, Mayor, council member, and residents. My name is Alvin Lumpkin Jr., and I live in the affected area near Sheep Island and Wild Game Road. I'm here tonight speaking not just for myself, but for many residents who care deeply about the future of our community. Let me be clear, this is not about opposing growth. Growth will happen where we're asking for a smart, responsible growth that does not outpace the infrastructure, public safety, or long-standing planning expectations. For years, this area has been discussed and planned around an understanding of approximately 447 homes. The number matters because it reflects what existing roads, drainage systems, schools, and emergency services were designed to support. Expanding far beyond that through annexation raises serious concerns that residents have consistently voiced. I want council to know that residents are acting in good faith. I met with the developer yesterday, and we expressed a willingness to continue discussions of hopes of working toward a plan that better protects the community. That willingness, however, does not replace the need for clear, enforceable conditions tied to any approval. Residents have been raised ongoing concerns about traffic congestions, emergency medical and fire response times, flooding and stormwater management, environment and wildlife impacts, emergency evacuation capacity, and the loss of rural character. Many of the roads in this area are already limited and congested in the event of a hurricane or other emergencies. Increased density without expanded road capacity creates serious safety risks. I also want to emphasize the importance of protecting the grounds of churches and cemeteries in the affected areas. These are not just parcels of land. They are sacred spaces, historical landmarks, and community anchors that deserve permanent buffers, respect, and protection from encroachment. We're asking for protection that lasts a firm residential density cap, permanent protected buffers between existing homes, churches, cemeteries, and new development, road improvements, and traffic mitigation completed before homes are occupied, emergency services and evacuation capacity that grow before population increases, development standards that preserve the rural look and character of the community, including tree cover, setbacks, and limited building height. This is also about doing everything possible to reduce traffic, not just accommodating, through site design, limited access points, and infrastructure improvements completed in advance. Once annexation happens, there is no undo button. This is why it's so important to slow the process down and ensure these protections are in place before irreversible decisions are made. Many residents intentionally choose to live in Berkeley County to avoid dense urban development. A Somerville postal address does not equal consent to annexation, and those choices should be respected. Tonight, I respectfully ask council to listen to residents, require enforceable safeguards, prioritize long-term quality of life, safety, and preservation for the people who already call this area home. Thank you for your time and your consideration. I appreciate you all.
Burnett Mazik.
Good evening, Mayor Touchberry and members of council. My name is Bernie Mazik. I reside at 903 West 5th North Street here in Somerville. I'm joined by Jason McMichael. We represent the Mazik family that is directly impacted by the Nash Nexton development. We represent the fourth generation of landowners in this area. And we're here really to ask your serious consideration as this development moves forward. We've had this land in our family for over 100 years. And if you can recall the map where the inverted L appeared on the track, our land sits in the midst of that L. So we're directly impacted by the development. Presently, that tract of land, which is close to 100 acres, is only accessed by Woodrow Road, right off of Wild Game Road. I think I could see in the map that was presented that there's still a road there, but we want to make sure that council ensures that that road remains there as an access to the Mazik compound that exists there. As was said earlier, traffic is a concern, and we need to make sure that the arteries of Wild Game Road, Sheep Island Road, and Highway 16 are properly planned to handle the growth in that area. The residents that are there now currently are tremendously impacted by the traffic, and we need to make sure that that is not a hindrance moving forward. Currently, the Mazik compound and the property surrounding it has environmentally sensitive wetlands. As you can imagine, any development is going to impact wetlands in that area. And currently, the ecological impact helps to ensure that delicate balance. We would not want our property to be unduly flooded by a large-scale development. And so that's a concern of ours. And of course, property taxes are always a concern whenever larger development, housing development occurs in the area. The residents, the legacy residents there now are able to manage the property taxes. This could negatively impact them depending on the development that occurs. And so we would ask that you seriously consider, I'm glad to hear that there will not be a vote on this tonight, but we ask that you can seriously consider these factors and others as you work with the development. Thank you.
Mark Smith.
Good afternoon, Council Mayor. My name is Mark Smith. I'm almost begging you guys to please don't put a ton of houses in this area. We just can't handle it. There's so much houses there now. The roads can't handle it, and we don't need it. Not only that, you had a planning committee, and they made a decision not to annex this area or not to develop it so much. But if you guys got a planning committee, I would encourage you to kind of take into consideration of what they had to say also. I just hate to see it. It's like I said, we need the infrastructure in place, and we need to try to hold these number of houses down. there's so many houses in that area now and it's constantly building. It's just entirely too many. Can't handle it. And all you're doing is piling stuff on top of us, the people that's lived there all their life, that's lived in a pretty peaceful community, and just bringing in more noise, more people. And I know you can't stop development. I understand that. But I do believe it can be controlled a lot better than what these guys are planning. I just believe it can be if people would just stick and work together and listen to each other. We're not against development by no means, but we are willing to try to negotiate to come to a peaceful conclusion where everybody's happy. I mean, we're just trying to survive. That's all. Thank you.
Brian Ambrose.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. My name is Brian Ambrose. I'm a resident of the town of Somerville at 308 Aberdeen Circle. My uncle just spoke, and we own a family farm that's been there for hundreds of years in the New Hope area. Tonight, I want to address the Creekside annexation proposal, Nexton's latest effort to stretch New Hope past its breaking point. Let's be honest, this is less about smart growth and more about cramming as much development as possible in a community that's not built to handle it. It's like inviting everyone into town to a potluck but forgetting to build the kitchen. Originally, Nexton agreed to a reasonable number of homes with Berkeley County. Now the Creekside proposal wants to increase that number. More units, more cars, and no surprise, more problems. Traffic on Highway 176 is already a nightmare, so let's make Highway 16 the same. This development will add hundreds, if not thousands more cars, turning our roads into congested parking lots. But I'm sure Nexton will pitch their usual traffic solutions. Spoiler alert, a roundabout or a widened road doesn't magically make gridlock disappear. Let's talk about schools. Berkeley County classrooms are already stuffed to capacity with no real plan to build more. Yet Nexton seems content with the idea that teachers and students can figure it out, maybe by holding class in the parking lots. Perhaps my biggest concern is the impact on our rural way of life. New Hope was built on family values, open spaces, and a deep appreciation for nature. Creekside threatens to erode all of that. What's left of our wetlands will be paved over, displacing wildlife and creating more flooding risk. But I'm sure the developers will plant a few shrubs and call it good stewardship. The bottom line, Creekside doesn't complement New Hope. It buries it under asphalt and contributes to urban sprawl. So I ask you, who does this serve? Not the traffic-weary drivers, not overcrowded schools, nor the families who cherish the character of New Hope. It seems to only serve the developer's bottom line while the rest of us pay the cost. Council members, we call this place New Hope for a reason. Please don't let it become No Hope. Protect what makes this community special and say no to this poorly planned annexation. Thank you.
Peter Wallace.
Good evening, Mayor, Administrator, Council members. My name is Peter Wallace, 427 West Carolina Avenue. And I simply want to thank you for your past support and I assume continued support for the changes in the tree ordinance and the UDO. These are changes that will make our job. I am the chair of the committee. These will make our job a lot easier and a lot clearer, both for us as well as those applicants to our board. So I do thank you for your support. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, that's all I have for the public hearing.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
And for public comment, number one, I did have Mr. Wallace, but he just spoke.
Nope,
So-
very good.
Next is pending bills and resolutions.
Mr. Mayor, I move we to combine items A and B under pending bills and resolutions.
All right, motion and a second to combine items A and B. Did you have a motion along with that?
And apologize. I also would like to move for approval of items A and B.
Yes, sir.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve items A and B. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Mr. Mayor, for items C, D, and E, I would move that we postpone those items until we hear back from the applicant and that they are ready to proceed.
Second. All right, motion and a second to postpone items C, D, and E. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
And we don't have any introduction of bills and resolutions, so miscellaneous, discuss and take desired action on proposed changes to the special events permit guide.
Mayor, so this doesn't get confusing and complicated. I'd like to make a motion that we just move the whole ordinance to next month. And I have heard some concerns that I think we can take care of. So, if we can hold off.
Okay.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to postpone this discussion to next month. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Item B, authorization for the Somerville Police Department to enter into a memorandum of understanding with Somerville Preparatory Academy for School Resource Officers.
Make a recommendation for approval.
I'll second.
All right, motion and a second to approve. Any discussion?
Do we know, is this a private school or a public school?
It's a charter school.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments, questions, discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Item C, authorization for the Somerville Police Department to enter into a memorandum of understanding with Crisis Chaplaincy.
I'll make a motion. We approve that.
Second. All right, motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Item 11D, appointments by Mayor Tushberry of council members to the following standing committees: Parks and Recreation Committee, Planning and Development Committee, Public Safety Committee, and Public Works and Committee on Water Supply in accordance with Town of Somerville Code of Ordinances, Chapter 2, Article 2, Division 4, Section 2-132B.
All right,
Motion, we approve that.
well, what I'll do is quickly convey that in speaking with council members, I have not received any feedback that leads me to reassign committees. And I will propose committees as they are assigned currently. If I need to read that out, I'm prepared. I have a note sheet, but if we're keeping them same, are we good? We're good. Thank you, Corporation Council. Motion to approve those. All right.
Second.
Okay. Motion is second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Item 11E, discuss and to take desired action to modify the town council committee structure referenced in Town of Somerville Code of Ordinances, Chapter 2, Article 2, Division 4. The request was by Councilmember Johnson Wilson.
Yes, Mr. Mayor and council, I really feel like that the committees, the way they are, do not allow us an opportunity to come together to talk about all of the issues together in a committee form or workshop form. Instead, we all play phone tag all week, or we have to talk by text, and it's just not a good way to get things addressed. A lot of times we have to even address things at council meetings that could have been addressed, I feel like, at a committee meeting, to give us the opportunity to talk about the issues that are coming up at council all together, to get everyone's input. I think there's been multiple times I wanted the opinion of somebody that was not on my committee, and I was not able to get that because there's only me and two others, especially professionals in that industry. I feel like in doing my homework and looking at the counties and municipalities around us, that's how they do it. They do workshops, or they have meetings where they all meet to discuss things. And so I would like to make a motion that we make a committee of all, or workshop of all, however you want to call it, excluding the committee that Kemet is on for Somerville CPW. I think state law says that has to remain. So that's a motion to move forward with a different committee structure of all.
I will second that, Mr. Mayor.
All right, motion and a second to have all council members as a part of the committee meetings except for the Public Works and Water Supply Committee.
As long as that's
Discussion.
required by state law.
Yes, sir. My issue and it's the issue I've had with the way we do our committee since I got on this council's. It doesn't allow us to have a free conversation about issues. Quite frankly, I'd like to have a forum, not this forum, to ask dumb questions and have the staff and have other council members educate me on exactly the intent of a particular motion or an ordinance or an issue that we're having in a particular department. And although I'm not on the Public Works Committee, sometimes I would like to offer something to the Public Works Committee, but in our present format, I can't do that. And by having just 3 members on a committee and sometimes someone is absent, to me, it just feels like so much theater for the purpose of having a committee without a lot of work actually happening. We could do all the heavy lifting on Monday night with a committee of 1, have all the questions asked, all the conversation. At that time, I think this meeting would go much more smoothly. We can even have, I know it's going to take writing an ordinance. We can stipulate that other than Finance Committee, that no votes be taken at the committee meetings. All the issues will be deferred to the full council at the regular council meeting. And it just would allow all of us to be involved in the conversation.
Council members, any other
I'd
thoughts?
just like to say I'll vote for it because this is a different council than we've had before. But what happened in the past, the discussions just ramble on and repeat, and the meetings just got unbearably long.
And Mr. Mayor, I was going to say the same thing. We did try this. I think it was maybe a year or 2 years that we did, and it did not meet what we thought it was going to. So we went back to separate committees, but it is a different council now. And so I'm for trying it for at least a year or 2 and see how it works.
I don't, I mean, we just talked about this about a year ago. I think it came up, of course, because Councilman Halter brought it up then too. So, I feel like it's a lot of duplicative. See, it doesn't matter if we're an idiot tonight either. So we could be dumb tonight too. It doesn't really matter. All of our meetings are public, so we always have an answer. We always have an audience. It doesn't matter whether it's online or on Monday night or in person Monday night or at this meeting tonight. All of our meetings are public. So it just seems if we're going to do this with the body of a whole on Monday, why meet again Thursday, or why meet Monday at all? If we're going to meet as a whole body, we're almost just having the same meeting twice. So that's my only issue with doing it. Yes, I wasn't a part of council when they did it as a whole several years ago, but I was sitting in the audience and it was almost awkward to watch and sit, because once again, what I was saying, you're having the same meeting Monday night as you are Thursday night. And yeah, sure, we answer all their questions Monday night, but we could have answered those same questions on Thursday night that we answered on Monday while we're sitting at 2 meetings for one.
Yeah, and the public attendance of those committee meetings was so low when we did discuss details that the public wouldn't get the information either.
I also don't feel that our committees, yeah, I agree with you, Councilman Halter. There was a time when council committees were council form of government. So the council committees were established because council members were actually in the weeds quite a bit. We didn't have much of a staff in this town at the time. There was, our staff was very small. So council members were relied on for their expertise to help offer insight into these issues that our department heads were facing. we have a very professional and very large staff now to where our committee meetings don't require a lot of really input from us. I feel like it is more of a take, and we give back when we can, but and offer some insights as far as the pulse of the community. But I don't know. Once again, I feel like it's just kind of an extra step in the process that, you know, it's not really necessary.
Other discussion? I just want to ask a clarification. Councilwoman, when you mentioned the Public Works and Water Supply Committee, it was still a committee of the whole. It was just a separate committee. You weren't suggesting that that committee be excluded from a committee of the whole and just be the 3 members, or were you?
I think all committees should be a committee of the whole, and I think that staff does look to us for direction oftentimes, and so we should give that. As far as, I don't know if the Somerville CPW committee that Kemet is on is a state mandated committee.
That's required by statute.
Okay.
We have to have a Public Works committee in order to have the ex officio seats on the Commission of Public Works.
Okay.
So we would just need a separate chair to chair that committee, but we could be a committee of the whole instead of a smaller body to meet Mr. Halter's. I just want to make sure. This motion is really just giving staff direction to prepare and the modifications to our ordinance
Yeah,
to reflect this, which we would be discussing for 2 more readings
correct.
moving forward. So I just want to make sure,
So do I,
Platten, you have what you need from a direction standpoint to prepare for the next meeting.
I think I do, Mayor. Just everybody understand that the committee structure is set up in your rules of procedure, which were adopted by an ordinance. So it will take an ordinance amendment so that we will strike the existing language and then substitute whatever new language y'all agree to at first reading and second reading.
I just wanted to say, I agree with Richard. We're going to take a vote at the committee meetings. Why put it on the agenda at this meeting?
Well, if I may, Mayor, only the Finance Committee under your existing committee structure is allowed to take a vote. And it can take votes on things that don't require an ordinance. Obviously, only town council can do that. So I would guess that y'all would want to preserve that authority in the ordinance. And we as staff will make recommendations to you to preserve that authority, along with ensuring that there's still a named Public Works Committee, and then of course, the committee of the whole.
Yes, sir. All right. Hearing no other discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
The ayes have it.
For public comment, Linda Wetzel.
Good afternoon. My name is Linda Haynes Wetzel, and I live at 108 Atlantic Street. Almost 27 years, starting in April of this year, I have lived at 108 Atlantic Street. 4 or 5 different companies have been behind my house. I've had dust control, doors, paints, eaten up, backyard living with mosquitoes, police protection, don't know us or the layout down the street, car exteriors gone bad, quality of life, no sleeping, you listen to all the noise and whatever. Other people would come down there to dump their garbage in our neighborhood. Also, I've asked for speed bumps on Atlantic Street because of the speeding. 4:30 in the morning, I have the big old truck, not big old trucks, but people going to work. They're racing like they're bat out of hell. And that's not fair to me. My bedroom is in the front of the house. Also, flooding. They put a building behind my house where the flooding is taking over my backyard and the ditches. The water is up to my ankles and nobody is cleaning the ditches out. which the land is owned by Bud Knight of All American. He will not clean the ditches. He will not talk to me. All he wants is whatever money he can make from those companies back there. That is not fair. Everybody else, I don't know if they have any problems. I've tried to get them to come to the meetings, but you don't respect us. We've been here one time when Mayor Berlin was here, and he treated us like, you know, we are nothing. We gave him a petition telling him about all of the things that are going on in Atlantic Street, and we do not get any help. And I am totally against the Mounts Corner or Sheep Island Trail. We don't need bougie shops or restaurants where 85 or 60 or 70 people, 70-year-old people eat in restaurants where they have their own farms to give us better vegetables. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I don't have anybody else for public comment and nothing for executive session.
Mr. Mayor, I move. I'll second that.
Motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. We are adjourned and Mr. Jackson won the race.
Yes, he did.
Y'all have a good month.
Oh, yeah, finally.